So there's unlikely to be any battling in this episode, because I thought it might be a good idea to just record some of my theorying part of the team, because, like I said, I'm not done until we're basically at the tournament. Monkey Dory's here. I brought it to a Premier Challenge yesterday, and I won the Premier Challenge, so it was a 3-man PC. Not much of an indication, but I put Monkey Dory over the Gastrodon, just as an extra fairy resist and all other reasons and stuff. And it is still pretty good, but like I said, I'm not satisfied until I am basically at the tournament, and even then I'm probably not satisfied. But I'm very convinced that Heatran is going to be the play. Like, I am absolutely bringing Heatran to the tournament. I'm fearing that maybe I should put Grass if I don't have Gastrodon, because I still feel just a tiny bit uncomfortable in front of water types. So Grass Terra might help alleviate that. I brought Supercell Slam Iron Hands to the Premier Challenge, and I brought that to an MSS a couple of weeks before as well, and I missed the first Supercell Slam of both tournaments. So I am not using that move anymore. I'm back to Wild Charge. So I might actually need to retweak this spread. I made this spread specifically for Supercell Slam, because that O-code Rapid Strike Urshifu with the Supercell Slam. Now Wild Charge won't quite. So I might need to rethink that, but the defense is to make use of the Terra Ice defense boost when I'm in the snow. Like Landorus is still very good. Roaring Moon is still very good. I like the Ninetales a lot with Heatran. Like the Disable Encore with Magma Storm is very good, and also this covers Landorus Incarnate perfectly. Monkey Dory is good. But I think the Monkey Dory slot is the most changeable. Like, I'm relatively convinced on the first 5 being good and worthwhile. And it's probably just about finding the last perfect 6th Mon. So that's what this episode, I guess it would be about. Trying to find what the perfect 6th Mon is for this. I might not find a perfect one, but I'm going to try. So, initial thoughts, like I have this as a special attacker and I have this as a quote-unquote special attacker. Like, it doesn't really count because Blizzard isn't that strong. So ideally I would want this to be a special attacker so that I've got an even 3-3 split. So let's just start there. And it does not necessarily have to be Yawn. Like, that was the initial idea of the team, and I've been, like, trying to push that through. And it's good. Like, Gastrodon Heatran is good. Hydrapple Heatran is good. But I'm not holding on to that. I'm going to just see, because this is basically, like, a what-if kind of thing if it just wasn't Yawn. So, let's just have a look at the special attackers. I do still like Spectria. Would Spectria fit here? I mean, I guess I get to pair it with the Ninetales going for Aurora Veil and this going for Snull and Will-O-Wisp. That wouldn't be too bad. Would I need the Terra Blast version, or can I get away with Taunt? Because I do really like Spectria. I found it to be very good when I've used it in previous tournaments. Although one of the matches I lost in top 8 of the MSS, Spectria was actually, like, terrible, and I kept bringing it because Taunt. Because I was facing a Porygon 2, an Ursaluna, and an Incineroar, and without the Terra Blast, this was useless, except for taunting the Porygon 2, and then what? I was basically playing a 2v1. This wouldn't be too bad, though. Spectria would be reasonable there. But what if... I should probably change that to this, and I'm going to forget to do that so many times. I mean, having Iron Hands and Thunderous on the team is fine, because this doesn't share a ground-type weakness with this. Would allow me to put Heavy Slam over Wild Charge a bit more reasonably. But I do like Assault Vest on Thunderous, and Assault Vest is on this. So a bit awkward. So I'll come back to that one. It's probably not worth it. Like, I do already have a fairy as such. This could be alright. I'll come back to it. I assume the next one's going to be Fluttermane. It tends to be straight after Inamoros. But, you know, that's an easy one. If I had Raging Bolt, I'd probably change the Iron Hands to something else. So I'm not too convinced on Raging Bolts. Because I think that, like, even just the little playing with Iron Hands with Aurora Veil, like, this is, like, especially investing in its defenses as well, it's really, really bulky. Like, I was on, like, 40 HP with Iron Hands, and it didn't get KO'd to an Ogerpon Hornleech. Like, it did like 30-something HP, which was quite funny. So yeah, I'm relatively convinced on Iron Hands. At least when I'm scrolling down a bit more, the legendaries will disappear, because then I won't have that much special attack. I could have this as just a Calm Minder. It's not the worst thing. Treat it like a Primarina. Could Primarina be worthwhile? I'm just going to put Primarina straight away, because I know I'll eventually get to it. And Volcarona and Heatran seems a bit unnecessary. But this isn't weak to ground, so it wouldn't be the worst thing. And it does resist fighting, actually, to be fair. Obviously not water. I've been making myself a bit more weak to water. So I could just tear her out of it, but you know. Probably a bit unnecessary. Golden Go, I'd probably want Tailwind on the Roaring Moon. So I'm not sure about that one. Glamora is fine. It's another Fairy Resist, but having 2 quad weeks to ground is probably not the most ideal thing. Like, obviously, they can both just tear it out of it. And also, I don't trust Meteor Beam. But then, to be fair, the Toxic Debris paired with the Magma Storm, that will rack up some damage pretty quick. But then there's a little bit of anti-synergy, whereas, like, I activate the Toxic Spikes. Now you can't switch out to switch back in to activate the Toxic Spikes. So, like, not the worst, but probably not. Still could be the Glaceon with the Yawn stuff. Like, that's still fine. Does Gengar count as a Fairy Resist at this point? Probably not, right? I mean, it is, but surely doesn't count. Is there anything I could do with this? I don't think so. Like what? It would be Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb. I don't feel the need for speed control on this team. I actually prefer to move second because of Heatran. Well, this gets Encore disabled as well. That's quite funny. Yeah, probably not. Poor Gengar. There's Primarina. Walking Wake as the dragon. I'd probably get rid of Roaring Moon. It seems a bit odd not to use it in Sun. And that could just be a Tatsugiri with Storm Drain instead, and I'd probably go with that. But then this just doesn't really have the bulk. I'll definitely give this something like Life Orb or Choice Specs. If it's Life Orb, it definitely doesn't have bulk. If it's Choice Specs, it's allowed to have bulk. The only issue with this is that I don't trust its inaccurate moves. So, why is Money Water usually useless? That's one of the main ones. So, like, when I've used Tatsugiri on Dondozo teams before, Dragon Pulse is my most click move. Which, to be fair, wouldn't be the worst thing. I could still do that here. And then, like, Terra Blast. It could be Steel or, like, Poison is still good with the Storm Drain Pokemon. Because of, like, Ogapon, and then you wall it. And then you just completely bulk it out. Which wouldn't be the worst thing. That would be fine. But again, I'd probably have to change the Roaring Moon to something else, and I like the Roaring Moon. It'd be a bit awkward to put another dragon on the team, I think. I think I'd have to replace Roaring Moon with another dragon, otherwise I'm becoming way too weak to Fluttermane, otherwise. Alright, Thundurus. Just regular Thundurus. Nice thing it has over Therian is that it outspeeds Ogapon, so you can go for something like Terra Flying Blast. And outspeed an Oko it. And then if they Terra, then it's Thunderbolt. But then I'd have 3 flying Pokemon, 2 of them need to go for Terra to Terra Blast, so I'm not too convinced with that. And if I'm going with the full support Thundurus, well, I've got Ninetales to reduce the damage anyway, so probably don't need it. And like I said, I don't need the speed... don't not need the speed control, I just don't care about the speed control. I'd prefer to just bulk out and survive instead. Good old Articuno. Is that still worth it? It could be. Becoming a bit weaker to the single strike Urshifus. I mean, I got a Psychic type already on the team with Monkey Dory. For this one, I surely would go with some speed control. So what? Freezing Glare. Good old Terra Ground, Terra Blast. That's Ghost. Can't click. Tailwind would be pointless. Trick Room would still be fine. Don't think I would need Rocky Helmet anymore. That was back when Rapid Strike Urshifu was king, and it's no longer king. It's still good, but not king. Reasonable. I'll come back to it. I said not another dragon. This doesn't... Well, it isn't weak to dragon. The Assault Vest is taken. And that's definitely the item you should be using. I don't have Rain, so I wouldn't be able to Electro Shot, so it'd have to be, what, Flash Cannon? But not even. Flash Cannon's pretty weak. So it'd have to be the Heavy Slam version, wouldn't it? Because I don't... Like, Flash Cannon is much better when you have the... Where's Heavy Slam? Usually useless. What? When you have Electro Shot to boost it up. So this would have to be the Snarl one. Which is fine, but I'm loath to put another Ground Weak on the team. He says as he had Monkey Dory. Where am I at? This could be a reasonable replacement for Articuno, I think. Because Ice Scales means you really don't take damage. And this does, like, very respectable damage compared to Articuno. Because what? Articuno had 154 actual special attack stat with the choice specs. You can get to that without even going Nature. So if I do go Nature, just only, that's already stronger than the Articuno. And then if I just completely invest in defenses, that's fine. It's not the greatest, but it's fine. But then I could still go for Blizzard. Does it get Freeze Dry? Okay, that would be a big thing that it doesn't get freeze dry. So Blizzard. Guess Ice Beam. Oh, because this gets the defense boost as well, so this will actually be not actually terrible, right? Because it'd be 160 something defense and 220 special defense. And then you can Terra Ice to get rid of your terrible typing of Ice Bug. That wouldn't be too bad. It's not the worst. So what do I want? I guess Bug Buzz, might as well. And then Struggle Bug is fine. Giga Drain. Put Struggle Bug for now. I'm probably not using this, but this is not the worst thing. Because actually, this would get reasonable bulk. Hold on. Frostmoth. Let's just compare it like against an Ogre-Bomb. So yeah, that's bopping it regularly without any investment. But then if I do fully invest, well, that's not too bad. And then in the snow, that's pretty reasonable, to be fair. And I've got Intimidate. Compare against Articuno. That's not that much less. And then I get way more special defense because of the ice scales. I should be way more specially bulky with... hold on, let me use something that could just straight up Oko. So... let's go for, I guess, Terrifier. No, that's not what I want. I want it to just be able to KO. Oh, so what I'll do is I'll Terrifier. Like, this is an unrealistic Okapon, but this is just to compare the damage output. So, just a KO. Like that, and then go back to Frostmoth. Look at that. Look at that. That's funny. So, Terra just to keep the... oh, get rid of the bug typing. Okay, now that's significantly more, isn't it? It's like 25% more. Not as bad. But then comparing the special defense, up to me. Okay, 50 to 59, Articuno. Yeah, that's way more. So that'll be an interesting trade-off. I think that's worth considering. But I probably spent too much time on a Frostmoth. Iron Bundle could do the same thing, right? I mean, this was a little bit of a thing. It popped up at one point, because Helping Hand Terra Ice Blizzard with Choice Specs Oko's Fluttermane. And this outspeeds Fluttermane by 1 point, which is very nice. The only downside is you'd have to run Hydro Pump. Freeze Dry. I guess Icy Wind, but like I said, I don't really need the speed control. Probably go with like Water Pulse or Chilling Water just as a 100% accurate water move if I need. This is worth considering, I think. That's got to be more reasonable than Frostmoth, right? I mean, Frostmoth has God tier special defense. This has the opposite, but is way faster. Basically as strong, though. And I'd probably have to put Helping Hand on the Ninetales now for that to be worth it. And I'd probably have to drop Encore or Disable. Which would be a bit awkward, but that would be the whole point of having the Iron Bundle, which is not the worst thing. Where am I at now? Down to here. Sinister as support. That would help a bit with the water type, or keeping Heatran safe from water types, and it would give it recovery when it wouldn't have it otherwise. It's looking like this slot is just going to be a Citrus Berry Pokemon, but it might not be. But Citrus Berry looks good on this. Like, Rocky Helmet's also good and all that. I would surely go with this as the moveset, but do I need the Trick Room as much? I mean, I might as well, because these are pretty slow. And this is, like, middling, so... yeah, Sinistcha would be fine. Wait a minute, wait, hold on. Just going back to Thunderous for a sec. Could be that instead. Wouldn't be as good against Ogerpons, but I still Thunderbolt them. But then I could Oko Landorus Incarnates. I could have this as Terra Ice as well to get a defense boost and boost the power of Weather Ball. Don't think I would need Thunder Wave. Would I even need Prankster? Could I be Defiant and be mixed? What would the physical move be, though? Wild Charge? Not Supercell Slam, I don't trust you anymore. Does not get Wild Charge anymore. What? Oh, it's in usually loses moves. I was going to say, like, that's odd. This could be interesting. Would I be able to fit Terra Blast on somewhere? Because then Terra Blast could be starting special and then turn physical if I get intimidated. I'd probably have to be over the Weather Ball though, right? Because otherwise what would I have space for? Yeah, because even just one Intimidate puts it above special attack. Because I would want to run... well, if I'm timid, it still does it. But would I want to be timid? That seems a bit awkward. That's a thought I'll hold on to. That tends to happen a reasonable amount, where I just had a random thought that's going on in my subconscious. Where was I at? Valiant. I still think it could be good, but I've already got a fairy, I've already got a fighting. Hydrapple is still worth it. It resists water a lot. It's not quite Storm Drain, but it is still very good. But again, I probably wouldn't have it with both Roaring Moon and Hydrapple. And I guess in the same vein, I could have Alolan Executor. It just wouldn't be Yawn. And the point is that I'm not going necessarily for Yawn, even though it would be very good. Can't have regular Landorus, because I prefer Therian. We are starting to get to the point where it is the weaker special attackers. Salazzle is pretty good at beating Fluttermane in regards to resisting Fairy. It does outspeed and threaten super effective into Ogerpon. Don't think I would KO though. Can you imagine if Salazzle is the answer? That'd be amazing. I mean, that's reasonable damage. Sludge Bomb. Ooh, not quite. Guess I would have to have Life Orb to get that. I mean, to be fair, it does get it. Just. Only just. Ooh. If only Salazzle were the answer. Would I need Oblivious? Because the main reason for Oblivious was when you were a Jetpack on Salazzle, and then you don't get switched out when you get intimidated. Right, Overheat Sludge Bomb. Obviously Fake Out. And then a supporting move. I mean, Poison Gas and Toxic might not be too bad to pair with Heatran just as extra residual. Poison Gas does hit both, and Corrosion means I'd hit Steel types as well. Will-O-Wisp is probably more consistent in regards that it reduces attack as well. Encore is good. Could have Sweet Scent to make sure Magma Storm hits. Not the worst, quite amusingly. Although it does give me another quad weak to ground. Okay, it could be one of the Latties, but again, that would definitely be over Roaring Moon and then something else in this slot. That would be fine. That's something to come back to when I've gone through this to go, well, what if it was a Lati in this slot, and now what should it be in this one? That's something to come back to. Sylveon would be able to do some Yawn stuff, which would be reasonable. I have considered Sylveon pretty strongly in that slot. Because I don't have any Fairy moves on this, so having extra Fairy coverage on Sylveon would be good. But I am starting to get to the point where these are starting to get quite weak in regards to special attack. Like 110 is still good, but probably not good enough without any kind of boosting thing. Yeah, that's probably reaching the end of the special attackers I would consider. I mean, Porygon 2 is still good. I think if I was running Porygon 2 just with this, I wouldn't actually go Trick Room. What would happen if I don't actually go Trick Room? Because like I said, I don't need Speed Control. Porygon 2 can just win on its own. What if I didn't have Trick Room? That opens up space for something else. Let's just go with Terra Blast and Ice Beam for now. And Recover, of course. What could the last slot be if I wasn't Trick Room? Trick Room would still be good, but what if? This is a what if episode. I could have perfect coverage like this. That would be reasonable. Right, so I'm going to have a few iterations with Porygon. So it could be that. Could just be Protect. Nothing wrong with that. be Eerie Impulse. Because Eerie Impulse is really hard to fit onto Porygon, because if you're a cover and Trick Room, then you have only one attacking move if you have Eerie Impulse, but this could get away without it. What else? In terms of coverage, I don't think there's too much else I would need. I could have Double Edge if I get an attack boost, but probably not. Shadow Ball is fine. Charge Beam, probably not worth it. Sub might be funny. Would help it beat Amoonguss. Sub might be funny. Ooh, Charge and Defense Curl. Make it even more unkillable. I could pair Charge with Thunderbolt. That could be amusing. I mean, after one charge, can special attackers even break Porygon? Like, lots of these thoughts are not worth it, but, you know, you've got to explore them to then disregard them, rather than just immediately. Yeah, that doesn't do much. Survives 2. A charge would 1v1 a Fluttermane. And it's technically a boost to the Electro-type attack. This would definitely be Terra Electric. That's not the worst, is it? Anything else that's worth considering? Eerie Impulse would likely be more consistent than Charge, because it helps out the rest of the team as well, not just the Porygon. Gravity, so I definitely hit. That's probably it. Magnet Rise when I'm Terra Electric. Again, it could just be Defense Curl. Charge is better though, right? Because I like, it depends on which Pokemon you're trying to 1v1 or 1v3 or whatever, but Charge also benefits Thunderbolt, whereas Defense Curl is just a little bit of a boost. Yeah, that's got to be it for Porygon 2. So, I think that's probably all the special attackers for the most part that I would reasonably consider, because I've got down to 105, so I'm just going to do a very quick scroll. But yeah, it's looking like I'm probably done with the special attackers, because these are getting quite weak now. I would need something like Milotic to be competitive to boost it back up, but the main downside that I have of Milotic at the moment is that Ogerpon just bodies it. So ideally I'd go with the Coil Hypnosis one, but then I can't touch Ogerpon. But that is likely it on the special side. Regice with choice specs. Same thing as Articuno. Hold on. Yeah, what's wrong with this? If Articuno did that well, what's stopping Regice doing well? More specs business spam. Yeah, again, it's shrugging off the flutter main quite handedly. Ice. And that does the Oko flutter main. Huh. I'd have to put Helping Hand on the Ninetales again. Disable Uncle's pretty good, but... And this actually gets coverage as well. Does it get Freeze Dry? It doesn't. But it gets Thunderbolt as its coverage. Would I want to go with Thunderbolt and then Terror Electric? Because then that's getting rid of the defense boost. If Articuno was worth, Regice is surely worth it as well, right? Yeah, it would be Ice Beam. Not really sure what the last one would be. Maybe Flash Cannon, maybe Terra Blast if I got a different type. Yeah, I don't think it matters too much at the moment. Let's just put Flash Cannon for now. Yeah, and this is stronger as well. Like, that's how much the Articuno had. So that's definitely bulkier than Articuno is. The Articuno does have the Snow Cloak, which is quite nice, but this has extra coverage. This should surely be worth considering as well. It's only base 100. Like, I could choice spec something in the base 100. Like, if Articuno was worth it with... Was it 95? Is it 9? Or is it 85? Where's Articuno? It's 85? Have I missed it? Where's Articuno? Is it weaker than I thought? Where's Articuno? I'm just being blind, aren't I? I should just type in Articuno, but I'm committed now. Am I just being blind? Where's Articuno? I will see. Articuno. Yeah, it was 95. So where did I just being blind? 95. There it was. I was being blind. Right. What was I even looking at? Completely lost my train of thought now. Oh well. So I was saying I could just choice specs. I said I could choice specs a Pokemon because Articuno was able to be, so could something else, right? Something like that. Where'd I get to? Just here, I guess. That might not be too bad. But then would I need that if I've got Magma Storm trapping them already? Well, I guess that would free up the potential of having competitive then, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would. Because that does the trapping. So then I could run more offensive on this. So what would I have? Psychic. Coverage. I'll definitely have Fake Out. I'll put Fake Out here for now. Its coverage isn't the greatest. It is still good, some good supporting moves. But I'd need something at least to... Well, I guess I would go Terra Ground, wouldn't I? Just like an Articuno. Terra Water might be better because I already have Ground. I don't have Water. What is it? Terra Blast Ground or Water? I'll go Water. Because that's what it was. Not Helping Hand, but competitive. We're starting to get there. Well, it will get there if I invest completely. He's that much and might as well hit the 11N. So then that would be... I need a little bit of speed creep so that my fake out goes before Incineroars. Let's just say it's that. And then it's that. And then it's max HP and then almost no defense, but that's not terrible. Terra Blast, Water. And extra coverage, maybe? Like, could just be Thunderbolt. Could be supportive move. Could just be Protect. I'll have that for now, and then what item? Ideally this would be Assault Vest. But then the Iron Hands has the Assault Vest. So then that's not as ideal. I guess I can change this to Clear Amulet or something. But that's not terrible. I do think I am now scraping the bottom of the barrel for the special attackers I'd be considering. I guess I've got to do another episode of me considering the physical attackers. But anything else? For Fable. That's not terrible either. My Life Orb is free. I could do that. I could have Ice Beam to KO the Landorus. Obviously follow me. I mean, this was a moveset, it had Rocky Helmet, but this was a moveset that top cut a Australian regional. Like this exact moveset, which is Rocky Helmet and Unaware. To be fair, that's not terrible. Because with the Life Orb and noticeable special attack investment, this is doing pretty good damage. So like just something like that. Yeah, that's definitely not terrible, and that means that, like, sure, that means Clefairy should be considered as well. And like that is not a special attacker by any means. Like I wouldn't have got down to 60. That surely means that Clefairy is worth it too. Frame is pretty strong. I mean, I could turn this into setup at that point. Like I could get rid of that. I would still want Fake Out, I think. So I'd have Protectless Iron Hands. Which Assault Vest is anyway, and then this would change to Citrus Berry. That's also not the worst. And I would just have Moonblast / Nightshade. Probably Nightshade. Follow me, Life, Do, and Protect. I have been saying that Life 2 is busted, so... Like, Aurora Veil and Friend Guard. That would stack pretty well. Yeah, that's definitely not terrible. I got to 95 with Clefable. Almost done. At least with the special attackers. So where is it? Clefable. Just saw Seadra. Where's Kingdra? There we go. Because Kingdra could yawn. Kingdra could yawn. And it does actually pair pretty well with Heatran. I wouldn't be able to, like, scope lens or anything. Because I don't have space for focus energy. I could if I have it overprotect, but I don't think I'd want that. So then I guess... Oh, it gets Scald. Oh, but then that's anti-synergistic. Oh, that's annoying, because that's anti-synergistic with the yawn. Oh, but I definitely have Scald. It's consistent. I mean, to be fair, burning is not terrible. Or what I could do, actually, as I just spotted, is I could wide lens this. And then I could have Whirlpool. And also Magma Storm. Ooh. I mean, I'd have Swift Swim, because then if they try to Rain Dance on me, might as well. That's not the worst thing. If I just bulk this out. It's probably not worth it. But like I said, I do consider everything that is at all reasonable. I think I'll stop when I get to 90 and below. Or below 90, I should say. I mean, yeah, Gastrodon is still definitely in contention. Don't think I want NDD. I'll put it there just for the sake of completeness, but I don't think I want NDD. NDD's fine. It's funny that Chien-Pao is still technically considered as a special attacker by my criteria. That is quite amusing. Suicune has the same issue with as my low tech. It would be nice, but it is just walled by Ogerpon. Driploom is fine with a Flame Orb, but I don't think so. And that was base 90, so I think I'm basically done at this point. Yeah, I mean, Venomoth is a fairy resist that can redirect, but surely not. So yeah, I think I'm done with the special attackers at this point. I probably should go through physical attackers as well, though, shouldn't I?